President Trump returning to Washington with an ambitious agenda for 2018. Republicans expected to have a busy year. Healthcare, infrastructure, immigration, welfare reform, all top priorities for Congress and this White House. Joining me now, Manhattan Institute fellow Steve Malanga. Steve, always great to see you. It looks like the agenda that developments around the world could set the agenda for this White House. Well, I don't want to say it's out of the White House's hands, but the Republicans in control will have to deal with. We just went through the list. Nikki Haley did.
Yeah. Well, first of all, a president's portfolio principally concerns really foreign relations and foreign affairs. The thing is that there is a rich economic agenda out there right now, too, and the president only dealt with part of it during his first term. And so it's a dual challenge. But let's face it, if things explode around the world, you see how quickly a domestic agenda just moves to the background, almost has to move to the background.
In terms of the domestic agenda, what is priority number one? Much has been talked about, Democrats could get on board with infrastructure. But I say they will run on one word in the midterm elections, and that's resist. Resist. Yes. If you listen to other networks, that's exactly what you hear. So I say you just have to assume that Democrats won't do anything with Republicans.
Well, so part of the problem is that priority number one is actually getting a budget, right, and dealing with the Dreamers issue, which comes up, really the deadline is March. After those things, if you're talking about an agenda to make things better, I think infrastructure is one where it will be hard for the Democrats to run from that. They'll have to stretch to find a way, because this is one of those things that everybody agrees we should be spending more money on.
I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say President Obama mentioned infrastructure spending as economic stimulus in literally every single speech he ever gave on the economy in 8 years in office. And now...
Shovel ready was the other part of that.
Right. But I guarantee you that the Democrats do not get or resist getting on board with any kind of infrastructure spending, although they seem to love spending our money.
Yeah, well, I'll have to look at the verbal gymnastics that they go through to do that, because here's the thing. The states themselves, including Democratic states, are yelling for this, too. So the Democrats will have to figure out a way not just to tell their own members, but they'll have to tell their own governors why they're not doing it. I think that's one pretty powerful impetus, because cities which are run by Democrats and states which have Democratic governors also want this.
How do you offset, though? The budget deficit's gone up 2 fiscal years in a row. We just passed a tax reform bill. The estimates are all over the place, but it will, based on every estimate that I've read, add to the deficit over a 10-year period. How do you balance those two? Because there's going to be more pressure on the White House and on the Republicans in the leadership to not add to the deficit, to not add to our national debt.
Right. Well, one of the things about tax reform is that depending upon who you believe, or I should say, depending upon how Americans react, that will add to the deficit possibly over time. I think they do this deal very quickly right now and justify it as stimulus.
One thing that they couldn't get repeal and replace on Obamacare done last year. That was a disaster, and I think it frightened, we've actually heard that it frightened the Republicans in the leadership into actually stepping up and doing something on the tax reform bill. But when you look at health care, when you look at Obamacare, this tax reform law gets rid of the individual mandate. Right. So you will have people on the exchanges, on the national exchange, you're going to see healthy people fall away. That means that the price will skyrocket for those people still buying insurance through these government exchanges. So either they get hit with even higher premiums or the costs skyrocket, or a combination of both. So I think that what they just did in the health reform, the tax reform with the repealing the individual mandate, is put them in a bind.
I think that's true. However, I do think that the real tripping point for health care reform is Medicaid. The states are getting hammered by Medicaid, especially those that add it and expand it. And now, of course, gradually the phase-in of the states having to pay more, that continues. And so even Republican governors are adamant, those that expand it, Medicaid, they are adamant that any kind of a fix has to include more money for Medicaid. You look at...
But again, that goes back to my point, more money.
Yeah,
it's not about reining in benefits. It's not about free market. It's a massive
Absolutely.
government health care program. We want more money. We want more money. And that's ultimately one of the things that caused the repeal and replace to fail last year. And
that is the Republicans are as responsible for that as the Democrats. The Republicans had the votes if they wanted to, but there are key Republicans who will not get on board with this. And I will tell you something. I follow state budgets very closely.
I know you do.
This is a very difficult environment. Even though we are 9 years into an economic expansion, this is a very difficult environment for virtually every state budget. And Medicaid is the number one problem. Again and again and again around the country, you hear this. The problem is they're spending more and they want more from Washington to solve their problems.
But where does that leave lawmakers in D.C. who actually worry about the deficits and the debt? Well,
this is why you've got this kind of...
Well, go ahead.
Right. Because the lawmakers in D.C. represent states. And the problem is Republicans are hearing from their own Republican governors, oh, no, don't do this. Here's the thing. This is part of why states have a very short-term outlook. They consistently expand programs in conjunction with the federal government. And then when the roof caves in, they say to the federal government, we need more money.
But the issue is this is now the Republicans own this. They can call it Obamacare all they want. But if you continue to move down a road and not fix the problems, I was looking at the enrollment numbers. Enrollment on the nationalhealthcare.gov exchange, it was down 4%. That's not that much for the enrollment for this current year. Enrollment was up in states like California, Washington, New York, and Minnesota. So that means that again, the pressure on the Republicans in the next year to fix this, because people are still signing up for that. More people are signing up for these state exchanges.
Well, in part, they're signing up for it because they don't have alternatives, because there isn't a free market operating. That is part of the problem right now.
Good to see you, Steve. Thank you so much. Budgets. I love it, Steve Malanga.